Hello, my name is Paul and this is a Mercedes 220 CDI, and by the end of this video this car will be gone. I don't know where it will have gone to, or when it will go, or what will be replacing it. But today it's going up on Facebook Marketplace for swaps only. I have no real preference on what to swap it for, except for something that I consider to be more valuable or better. And there's the danger, because I could end up swapping it for something that actually I really want to keep. That could happen quite easily actually, but I must remain true to the plan and just keep on swapping. This is a car with many a fault, and I could end up swapping it for something that's got even more faults. So I'm going to have to be really, really careful. Anything that comes up on offer, I'm going to look into carefully. See what kind of things go wrong with them. What are the expectations? What's it like to sell, etc. Or, again, swap for someone else. I have addressed a few issues on this car to make it more useful, and I can say that it's a perfectly usable car. But I'm not going to go any further. There's no point in trying to get the paint all correct. What is a 2008 Mercedes diesel with 217,000 miles on the clock actually worth, with bits of broken bits and dents and scratches and a knackered interior? Well, it's going to be worth whatever it gets offered, I guess. So I've changed the intercooler. I've removed a couple of the scratches. I've given it an Italian tune-up. And that's it. Nothing else. It's just going to go out there like this. In fact, I'm not even going to wash it. And I'm not going to worry about that being a bit broken either. But I think I should put the engine cover back on. Better. So I sat down and had myself a ponder on what I could write. Obviously I can't film the part of me making the advert because I'm using my phone to film me talking about making the advert. They always have to go for review before they can just go for sale straight away with every single item. Not sure what Facebook are worrying about. Just one small rule. The car I do a swap for has to be a car. In other words, not a project. I have to be able to jump in it and drive it home. I don't mind a few scratches, some bad paintwork, a few mechanical issues, but it has to work. You never know. This could be the last time I drive this car. Or I could be stuck with it for weeks. I don't mean stuck with it. I like this car. I've even given it a name. It's called Sydney James. No idea why I've called it that. It's just a name. I feel obliged to give cars names these days. Well, after an overwhelming response of one reply and then nothing, I've decided maybe the best thing to do would be to do what I did with the Volvo and just simply put it on my own Facebook page. The Mercedes has got practically no views on the advert. Maybe it's because there's about 70 or 80 of exactly the same car advertised that it's a buyer's market. Well, just got into work and I've been offered a swap for a car that I quite like the look of. It's a 2006 Audi A4 convertible in orange. Good colour, 1.8 turbo. But there's a part of me that thinks, be careful. Does the roof work? Is it leaking oil? Has the cam belt been changed, etc.? So I'm a bit unsure about that. Potentially it's worth more than the Mercedes, but only if everything is tickety-boo. Well, just as I was recording that section, I had another message come through, and I've been made an offer that I really can't refuse. I'm going to take off the EGR valve on this Mercedes and see if I can clean it up first. That's the least I can do. Best get changed. This could get really mucky. I just need three things to do this job. An E10 socket, a flat blade screwdriver, and a sense of determination to pull that piece off, though it's going to be stuck like buggery. Not so bad after all, actually. Just a little bit of yanking with the hammer and a ratchet strap. First time it's rained in days. Thanks What a moment. Looks a lot better than it did do before. I've given it a good spray over with WD-40 and just let it sit, and then used a plastic scraper to get some of this gunk off. So, hopefully, it'll help. Well, the traction control had to kick in, but it is wet. So, will it be better? There was definitely some carbon build-up on that EGR that I've managed to clean off, but I don't know if it was enough to cause any of the running issues. Oh, well, that's interesting. Have I driven it in the wet so far though? No. No, so I can't say, oh, the back wants to kick out, so therefore it's fixed. Given the circumstances, with it being a bit damp and a bit busy, it's very difficult to tell whether it's really made any difference. So I'm going to treat myself to a little spin up Blackstone edge. That's when I'll be able to tell. Normally there's a bit of a flat spot that just keeps happening. It's a bit intermittent, but when it does, it feels almost like it's given up, like it's run out of fuel. And that's not a nice feeling. So if that doesn't happen at all on the way up here, I'm going to be reasonably satisfied that my fix was a fix and not just a exercise in taking a part off and getting grubby. It's pulling okay, I must say. Let's just try not to flip myself off the road. Yeah, it's definitely pulling a bit more. Oh yes. I'm having to just slow down a bit for this bend here as well. Slow down a bit too much, in fact. Gear 6 all the way. Not bad. Not bad at all. And it's picking up as well. Shit. Down to a range of 33 miles. That's dangerous territory. I've not done that with this car before, and I should just turn around quickly and head back down the hill and hope that goes back up a bit. Good. Stupid place to stop, isn't it? That wasn't too difficult after all. There goes Sydney the Mercedes off to its new home. And now time for the big reveal. You're going to be a bit surprised by it. It's a Rover, but not just any Rover, an 827, a Mark 1 827. That's a rare car, like a really rare car. A car from a time where Britain was still Britain, and men had beards without being ironic. I shall talk briefly through this car, but not go too far, because I want to do a proper review, and then the next part 3, will be this, going up for swaps. And there, I really am going to have a problem, because this particular motor car suits me down to the ground until I get fed up with the fuel consumption. Let's have a quick look at it. 16 feet of British magnificence and nostalgia. An 827 SI on an F plate. That means it's a 1989 car and 37 years old. Has a small rust patch there and a crack on the bumper just there, and a couple of bits to possibly realign. The seats are a magnificent, comfortable velour, which is incredibly hard wearing, and as you can see, hasn't worn at all. Only 78,000 miles, and the dash hasn't lifted. If you know anything about the Rover 800, that lifts with the heat. Underneath the long green bonnet, we find the Honda 2.7 litre V6. with an automatic gearbox. The cam belt has just been done on it. The gearbox fluid has been flushed and changed for the proper stuff. This is a proper Rover. Now, I knew right from the start that I could end up swapping that Mercedes for something that not only do I like a lot more, but actually really want to keep, and I'm afraid this is it. But it's not going to stop me from offering it out anyway, because you just never know. There are a couple of things I can think of that might just prefer a bit more. There's not a lot of work to do on this car, really. I could make it a bit tidier. I could do something about these little white patches that have happened there. Maybe a bit of trim fettling. But I don't need to worry about the brakes, because the brake discs, new all round. 2 calipers on the back as well, all recent. Proper wood and somewhere to keep the family crocodile. And then a whole load of spares in the boot as well. I have been wanting something properly old like this for a very long time. Somehow something that's 20 years old doesn't feel old. Even 25 doesn't really feel that old. When this car came off the production line, Margaret Thatcher was still the Prime Minister and I was a teenager. I just met my first ever proper girlfriend, and her dad bought a brand new Escort and an F-Reg. I bet that's long gone. This for me is a nostalgia trip like no other. This is the oldest car I have ever owned. It's just so close to being MOT and tax exempt. What could I possibly prefer to this? An MG Maestro? What I'm going to do next is just be open-minded and open to negotiation. I have got such a good deal here, and I can just be a proper Rover man until something else happens. You're going to have to offer up something really bloody good to get this out of my hands. No aircon, but no ABS, no airbags, no catalytic converter. It predates a lot of the stuff that just causes problems, enabling such cars not to become classics because they get chucked away. Careful not to go into review mode because I don't want to give it all away, but it is so comfortable and so smooth, and not sports car like in the slightest, and I really like that. I like the fact that they built a car that isn't meant to be flung around corners, but to just be driven nicely, properly and smoothly. Whilst this car is in my care, I'm going to call it Tony, after my friend Anthony, whose dad had one of these back in '88 when it was brand new. And of course, Tony Blair, who had one of these whilst he was running to be the Prime Minister. You can tell the gearbox oil's been changed because it has that lovely fluid sound to it. The last time I owned a car that was made in the 80s was over 20 years ago, back when they were worth nothing. Let's see how it does its kick down. 30 miles per hour. Smooth. Okay, this car really floats my boat. It really stirs my porridge. It really tunes my piano. It milks my tea. It salts my peanuts. I love it already, and gosh, why do I have to do this? Why can't I just say, oh, this idea is over with because I've found something that I really want to keep? That's just me though. Anyway, until the next episode of Trading Up, where you'll see this car again, thank you for watching, and thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for liking this video because it all helps. Thanks for commenting, and bye-bye. Oh, thanks for being a channel member.